assemblies. And during this just recent recess period, as a committee, we were able to sit with over 20 county assemblies looking at their request as far as the issue of their expenditure budget ceilings for them, the county assemblies were concerned, Madam Speaker. So in this second schedule, Madam Speaker, we were able to look at the needs. We were able to consider in terms of the different issues that they presented, Madam Speaker. In the processing of it, Madam Speaker, you find that some of these budget changes were brought about by the issue of the inflation, Madam Speaker. Some assemblies also pointed out on the issue of increased medical costs that they needed to be able to at least cover their members or their staff, Madam Speaker. Some of them needed to have or to purchase office equipment. Some of them needed mobility as far as transport is concerned, because you find that some counties have got quite different types of hardships. And so we were able to look at these different issues that the county assemblies presented and ensured that we adjusted their ceilings depending on the different needs that they presented before the committee, Madam Speaker. Allow me to also recognize, Madam Speaker, the different stakeholders that we've been able to walk this journey with, led by none other than the CS Mbadi, the CS Treasury in Planning, whom we've walked this journey as far as Division of Revenue is concerned. The Council of Governors. Remember, Madam Speaker, their proposal was actually 536, Madam Speaker. But as a House, we've given them a total of 28 billion as an increment. And I want to tell the governors, this is not their money. This money is not given to governors as individuals. It is given to the institution, the county, which has structures, and the governor is the CEO. It is prudent that with this increment, let them prioritize the issue of the pending bills. We push a lot for them to have these increments. We also push a lot for them to have timely disbursements. So they should also do the needful, Madam Speaker, and ensure that suppliers are paid and paid on time, Madam Speaker. CRA, we've worked closely and we continue working very closely with them. Remember that the ones who submitted their first formula, we were able to really dig deeper into the formula that they had presented. The County Assemblies Forum, they have a structure, they have a body that we've worked very closely with. The Institute of Public Finance, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Madam Speaker. The Institute, Madam Speaker, of Economic Affairs, Institute of Social Accountability and Budgetary Hub. These are institutions that really we work very close with, so that we can be able to ensure that we maximize when it comes to matters public participation, Madam Speaker. The committee, having considered the bill and stakeholder submissions, we were able to make some several observations, which included sharing of the revenue amongst the county, that is the 415, as per the two schedules that I've communicated, the first schedule, which is the fourth basis, and this second schedule for the county assembly, Madam Speaker. The overall ceiling to the counties, assemblies has been enhanced by 1.89 billion from the approved 36.37 for the financial year 2024-2025 to 38.26 proposed for financial year 25-26. The county executive ceilings, as provided by CRA, reveals a significant shift from the previous financial year with 10.3 billion decline. CRA indicated that this was informed by the quantification and various expenditure needs. There are various expenditure needs that have also arisen, especially in the county assemblies, Madam Speaker, due to time lapse. For instance, the Hansard systems that has also lapsed for over the years, and this needed to be put into the modern digital standard that is in place. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I would want really that this bill be adopted, and I would really also extend the same gratefulness to my committee members, whom we work very closely, because you realize, Madam Speaker, that our bills at the Committee of Finance are timely bills. And I appreciate, because you also have to readjust and rearrange the order paper because of the timelines that we have as far as these bills are concerned, the Secretariat that we work also very closely with, and all the stakeholders that I've mentioned. I would request to call in Senator Cherargei to second, Madam Speaker.
The seconder, Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to support the committee for the good work. I think this is the only committee, apart from, of course, you as truly a Public Accounts Committee, that is doing a good job. I think, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the committee Vice Chair, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, for always being there and ensuring that.
Yes, what's your point of order, Senator Sigit?
Chair, is it in order for Senator Cherargei, as he moves to second, for him to say that there are only 2 committees in all of Senate that are actually working?
Senator Cherargei, that assumption, do you want to correct instead of arguing that only 2 committees are working?
Madam Speaker, I say industrious committees.
No.
Can
You
we
said
check the
the
answer?
only 2. It is
I
very
said
clear.
These are only 2.
You said the only 2 that are working.
Can
Senator Cherargei, you know what you said. Please.
Can the answer be bear me witness? If I have committed
Senator
the wrong,
Cherargei,
then I can withdraw and apologize. No, I just really want to get what I said, Madam Speaker.
Secretariat, can you indicate what Senator Cherargei said?
Yes, please.
Okay, everybody, can you hold on? We get a minute. Senator Mutinda. Senator Cherargei, you can continue, and the verification will be brought as in due course. You can continue moving and.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the understanding.
Senator Veronica, what do you mean by point of clarification? I mean, you've not said anything. Why are you clarifying anything? I think let Senator...
Point of information. Point of information.
Senator Cherargei, do you want to be informed? Thank you. Okay. Let Senator Cherargei proceed.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want from the onset, and thank you for your understanding, Madam Speaker. You know you are my neighbor. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. As I rise to second, I want to celebrate this Committee of Finance and Budget, and more so the Vice Chairperson, Senator Tabitha Mutinda. And I'm told she's looking for something with this Nairobi City County, and I wish her well. I think she has outdone herself, Madam Speaker, in this committee, and I hope to see her in future senior leadership positions in this country. Mr. Speaker, as I read you know, Article 210 of the Constitution is very clear on a number of allocation, the county allocation. Madam Speaker, it behooves, I think, Article 96. The role of Senate and us is to protect devolution. The reason all of us should be here, and I know my colleagues are following keenly as they, on the floor of the House and also in our launch, Madam Speaker, this is very critical. I'm happy. And I want to commend, although, Madam Speaker, I had somebody trying to castigate the former Prime Minister in one of the events, which is very uncalled for, because as a Senate, we had sat and said 465 billion should go to counties. Madam Speaker, it is the economic reality. And even me, I was at the beginning, Madam Speaker, I was disappointed because we thought counties should get more. Because looking at the national budget of 4.2 trillion, we thought even county should get 50% of the national budget, Madam Speaker. But because of the economic realities, Madam Speaker, the Committee of Finance and Budget and the mediated came back with 415 billion to the counties, and I want to set the record straight. To many Kenyans from our 47 counties, we did add almost 28 billion to counties, Madam Speaker, up from last year when we had 387 billion last year, Madam Speaker, under shareable revenue. So there is additional funds, and I want the fourth estate, Kenyans and governors, Madam Speaker, to get right. There was an additional funding to counties, courtesy of our mediation committee and also the Committee of Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, for example, Nandi, we are going to get an additional up to 7.7 billion in shareable revenue. Madam Speaker, for Kenyans to understand, shareable revenue is not inclusive of additional funds, conditional funds, Madam Speaker, such as grants, and also outside on-source revenue. Madam Speaker, so that Kenyans can understand. You know, many people confuse, and you know, governors take advantage and tell people there is no money that has been released in Nairobi. Yet they are not telling Kenyans there is additional funds, there is conditional funds, Madam Speaker, including grants. I know later in the day, Madam Speaker, with your indulgence and understanding, they will be able to move Equalization Fund, which is yet to be released, Madam. All this money will one way and another go to our county for development. So on this shareable revenue, I'm happy, Madam Speaker, that as a house, we did sit, and it is our vision, Madam Speaker, to have counties get more funds day in, day out for the benefit of development, Madam Speaker. I agree. I saw the Senator of Nairobi bring a statement on the stall projects in Nairobi City County. Those are challenges that we are facing, Madam Speaker. Even in my own county, I did indicate early that, for example, there are so many stall projects, Madam Speaker. In fact, the Nandi County Assembly did consider an ad hoc report where 6 billion Kenyan shillings worth of projects cannot be accounted by the county government of Nandi, Madam Speaker. And it is very unfortunate, because when you go to Chepter, where I was there on Friday, Chepter Nyayo Ward, Madam Speaker, as told, yet the people of Masab sub-county and people around have to go to Western to seek medical services. You come to Kobuja, Madam Speaker, hospital, it is also stalled. You go to Kapsengere Hospital, which is neighboring you to Kisumu County, in Terik Ward, is also stalled, and it is affecting provision of health services in that region, Madam Speaker. I hope when we push to increase this money through conditional allocation, Madam Speaker, of revenue to counties, it will assist to jumpstart like Kapsengere, Madam Speaker. Even when you come to newborn mother and baby in Kapsabet Town Hospital, Madam Speaker, it's very unfortunate. It is wobbling. It is yet to be completed, Madam Speaker. Go to Kabie Dairies. It has been built for the last 8 years by the county government of Nandi, yet they have not been able to even manufacture 100 millimeters of milk that can be processed in that criminal. Yet that project being co-financed, Madam Speaker, it has consumed close to 1 billion Kenyan shillings, Madam Speaker. When you go to, Madam Speaker, even on Friday, Madam Speaker, I had an occasion of attending a retirement party of Mwalimu Limo in Kamakap, in Aldai. I was able to pass a dispensary, Madam Speaker, called Kabwareng, or Kibwareng, Madam Speaker, and you could find there is no sufficient drugs. The provision of medical services is very wanting. So this this county allocation of revenue to counties should jumpstart, Madam Speaker. I have had the mover, my sister, Senator Mutinda, has alluded on the issue of pending bills. As we talk today, Madam Speaker, it is almost 200 billion that are pending bills, Madam Speaker. The reason we push for more increment to counties, Madam Speaker, is to ensure counties are able to pay their first charge, which is pending bills, Madam Speaker. It is sad, Madam Speaker. When you go to Kisumu County, Busia, all the way to Mandera, there are so many young businessmen and women who have gotten diabetes or high blood pressure because they have done their only mistake was to work for county governments, Mr. Speaker. They are yet to be paid. You saw in some instances, I think a few months, somebody somewhere, one of our counties had to work naked, bare naked, because they have yet to be paid. Madam Speaker, most of the projects that is being done by our businessmen and women, including Nandi County, Madam Speaker, they have yet to be paid by county government. And yet most of those, they took through LPO to get loans, Madam Speaker. They have been able to get loans. They have guaranteed through their land. They have guaranteed through their own money, Madam Speaker. Can you believe there are Kenyans, Madam Speaker, who provided for service and goods and even in counties, Madam Speaker, that are yet to be paid. Because I don't know, this money that we give to county governments, Madam Speaker, what do they use for? Because, Madam Speaker, the reason devolution was done was to give opportunity to so many Kenyans across our counties, Madam Speaker, to have an opportunity to do business at our counties, Madam Speaker. Even here in Nairobi, there was even a case of illegal fees of almost 2 billion, Madam Speaker, that is yet to be paid. There is a number, in fact, the largest 80%, 60 to 80% of the pending bill that's around 200 billion comes from Nairobi, Madam Speaker. And you heard today there was a statement of most of the stalled projects in this county, Madam Speaker. And you have seen even occasion where it rains, the roads within network within the city that should be maintained by the county government of Nairobi, Madam Speaker, is yet to be achieved. And somebody says, and I remember the governor used to say that lazima I walk. It looks like it doesn't work, Madam Speaker. So some of these challenges that we are facing, including the issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker, must be considered so that counties, Madam Speaker, can have opportunity to put in place, Madam Speaker. Number 3 point, Madam Speaker, as I move, is that the control of budget. I know the control of budget, Madam Speaker, has been having a problem. We have a sit-in on a number of occasions, and I want to challenge the Committee on Finance and Budget, Madam Speaker, to sit with control of budget. Because another challenge, Madam Speaker, most of the counties apply for requisition. They get, and you know, the biggest elephant in the room, Madam Speaker, is voiding of payments, Madam Speaker. Somebody requests to pay A through control of budget, but when the money is released through the county CRF account, they pay B. And that is when voiding of payments happens, Madam Speaker. We have seen a county like my county, they did avoiding payments of only 500 million, where they tell the control of budget they are going to pay Y, but they pay Z, Madam Speaker. And that is what is killing counties. That is why you need to look, I don't know whether you need to look nice or something for governors to pay you or something like that, because it doesn't make sense. We push for the increment, then this issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker, or the issue of control of budget. I know governors, when they hear this, they are very uncomfortable with COB, Madam Speaker, and you are aware because you have sat with us in this house and you sit also in a number of committees. They are very uncomfortable because the control of budget, we need to ask her, Madam Nyakango, to be on the lookout, because we don't want that requisition to counties after we allocated funds to be used for voiding of payments. And that is what is killing counties, Madam Speaker. Number 4 point, Madam Speaker, is on the issue of Office of the Auditor General, Madam Speaker. I know while we fight for this money to be released, before I conclude with that on the Office of the Auditor General, under Article 219, Madam Speaker, the law is very clear. Why is it that every time, and I know Finance and Budget has been on the receiving end, and even the CS in charge of Treasury, John Badi, Madam Speaker, on many occasions we have been complaining.
Senator Cherarke, your words have been brought to me now. Do you want to sit for a second? This is what you said. Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to support the committee for the good work, I think this is the only committee, apart from, of course, you as truly public accounts committee. So the wording is clear. You actually said it's the only one. I think it impugns improper motive about the other committees. So I kindly request that you withdraw.
Madam Speaker, I profusely withdraw and apologize, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the 4th point I wanted to make is on Article 219. I know we did sanction the former CS of National Treasury, Ukuri Yatani, in the last session for delay in disbursement to counties, Madam Speaker. Article 219 of the Constitution 2010 is very clear. When the money is released, Madam Speaker, it should be released to counties without undue delay, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I want to appeal to the CS of National Treasury. I know the Finance and Budget, Madam Speaker, we have been demanding questions, especially, Madam Speaker, when counties do not receive their funds in time, Madam Speaker. We want counties so that when we bring them for accountability, when we ask them questions, when we do oversight as per Article 96, Madam Speaker, we are able to hold them to account, Madam Speaker. I know this Article 219 has been abused, Madam Speaker. Why would counties go without the money for more than a quarter, Madam Speaker, in the financial year? In fact, I know there are challenges of collection of revenue in the country, but that one should not be justification, Madam Speaker. I want also to request counties, because the biggest problem is own source revenue. In most of these counties, Madam Speaker, they are collecting revenue either automated system. And in most of the occasions, Madam Speaker, they don't get value. They don't own some of those. I've seen my brother, Governor Kimani Wamatangi, who was here, courtesy of your office, Madam Speaker, and I saw somewhere that they presented there has been an increment in terms of collection of revenue. We have seen a number of counties projecting. So we want to request them that their county treasury, the money they get, they must use for the value of the many Kenyans that we see. So this, Madam Speaker, should be a wake-up call to many of our people, Madam Speaker, so that we can see development going into the future, Madam Speaker. And I request colleagues, Madam Speaker, even as we consider that these funds we push to counties, Madam Speaker, we must be very... And another aspect, Madam Speaker, I want to challenge counties in conclusion. Because we have so many challenges of young people, lack of opportunities, I want to call upon counties to be creative. We have passed, I don't know, Madam Speaker, I did see in the order paper that we have creative industry bill. Creatives, I think there was a bill concerning creatives, the young people to monetize their social media. Even as I did this, Madam Speaker, I want to, in your indulgence, pass my deepest condolences because we have lost one of the comedians called KK Mwenyewe yesterday or today morning. Madam Speaker, may his soul continue to rest. We used to get to enjoy ourselves whenever he used to act, and now may the family, God be with them during. So the creative, we want to request counties, Madam, I want to challenge counties. It is not enough to issue balls. It is not footballs or volleyballs, Madam Speaker. It's not enough to issue nets. It is not enough, Madam Speaker, to issue chemist kits. Counties can bring something creative through this allocation of funds, Madam Speaker. And therefore, even development, Madam Speaker, even as national government does development, Madam Speaker, because over the weekend I visited a place called Chepsir, Madam Speaker, and the roads, you know, Madam Speaker, in my region it is raining heavily. As you are aware, you are our neighbor. There is a lot of rains at the moment, and the roads are very pathetic and impassable. And I was shocked, Madam Speaker, that some of the agencies, and I'm happy there are changes in the agencies of roads in this country, in a road called Chepteritmo University, Madam Speaker, and I was shocked with this, the engineering. You know, I'm not an engineer, I'm a lawyer like you, Madam Speaker. And as I was passing near Cap Chepsir, Madam Speaker, Chepsir village, next to Chepterit, those guys were putting maram, then they put tarmac on top. So I was wondering, what type of engineering is this? And that is why in this country, one of the biggest challenges, Madam Speaker, is misappropriation of funds. The EACC must be on lookout especially, and I'm happy, EACC, Madam Speaker, were given access to e-procurement. We want them to take advantage and ensure that there is no misappropriation of funds. I hope and pray one day that the EACC will ensure, Madam Speaker, that there is access, there is no misappropriation of funds in our counties. Madam Speaker, you know the problem with OAG report is that we are morticians. We come after the fact, Madam Speaker. I want to challenge EACC to put in preventive mechanisms so that we don't lose resources in our counties, Madam Speaker, so that we get value for the money. You know, Senate, we come, they appear before Public Accounts Committee, we give out, we can't prevent because we are just morticians. The only time we have opportunity, Madam Speaker, is during now county revenue allocation. Then we come back after looking at the Office of the Auditor General report. I know there are many recommendations we can make as a Senate, but the only implementing agency, Madam Speaker, I have served in this house for some time. The only problem we face, and I know yourself, you go to a place, public parasa, people and always, what is Senate doing about stopping of funds? But they don't know, and I want to take this opportunity to inform Kenyans. The work of Parliament is to recommend. The work of investigation and prosecution is EACC and DPP. The much we can do, if there is misappropriation of funds in our counties, Madam Speaker, is only to recommend for prosecution, for investigation by the DPP, by EACC, especially on the issue of economic crimes, Madam Speaker. So on this one, Madam Speaker, because I want to allow most of my colleagues to be able to contribute, is to second by saying, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, this is a very critical bill. Madam Speaker, governors should be aware, this is not their funds. And I have had on several occasions, Madam Speaker, governors are they love and like senators during this time only, Madam Speaker. But when you go to the village, whether Kisumu or Busia, and you tell Governor Otuoma or Nyong'o that you have brought money, I had another governor, Madam Speaker, which I have tremendous respect. They should also ensure that these resources we give them is not theirs. It is the money of Kenyans. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to second, and I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025 be now read a second time. Senator Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill is not just about figures and physical frameworks. It is about deepening devolution. It's about unlocking stalled projects. And it is about winning the trust and the confidence in county service deliveries. Madam Speaker, we know that county governments continue to bear the weight of expectations from wananchi, from healthcare to ECD, education, water, infrastructure, and all that, Madam Speaker. Yet year after year, we continue to deal with delays, underfunding, and ceilings that lock any chances for innovation and progression in our counties. We are stuck in a rut, like we are funding recurring budgets and very little of innovation and responsiveness in our counties, Madam Speaker. I look forward to a time when allocations in our counties will be based on how much pending bills each county owes its people. And I look forward to when we have a specific allocation that must strictly go to pending bills, Madam Speaker. I have never understood why, as a Senate or as a country, we do not take pending bills seriously. Is it because ourselves, we are not business people? Because when you procure services, when you procure goods from our own citizen, Madam Speaker, it is only prudent that we pay our people. Why are we scamming, for lack of a better word, our people? Because, Madam Speaker, today, if I go to a restaurant and order for food when I don't have money in my pocket, Madam Speaker, that is tantamount to scamming. Why are we doing that to our people? And Madam Speaker, when this money goes to the hands of our people, it makes our economy run, because now businesses are underemploying because they don't have the money. The money is held by government, Madam Speaker. I do not know what we need to do as the 12th Parliament to make sure that as we finish our 5 years, we address the issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker. It weighs heavily in my heart and in my mind, the issue of pending bill, especially when young people are owed by government. We are crippling our own young people instead of supporting our young business people. We are the ones who are crippling them, Madam Speaker. Nairobi, as a city, has its own devolved complexities, and I'm looking forward to not just timely disbursements of this money, but also very clear accountability mechanisms that gives zero room for misallocation. And with that, I want to urge other members, my colleagues, to pass this bill with the urgency that it deserves. Our county governments cannot run on goodwill and loan. They need resources. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also make my contribution on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, I listened carefully when the able Senator and Vice Chair of the committee was moving this bill, and thank her together with the committee for the work they have put into bringing us this bill. Madam Speaker, I wanted to start by saying that this is a very solemn duty that is bestowed upon the Senate after we have passed the Division of Revenue Bill. We have divided the monies between the national government and the county governments. Now, when we are discussing this bill, the proposition is to divide the monies amongst the counties. And Mr. Speaker, many people wonder what Senate does. And it has taken a lot of explanation, because sometimes senators don't say this enough, but it is after we pass, for those who are listening to us at this time, it is after we pass this law that the money is made available to the county governments and the county assemblies, so that this money is then applied for the good of the people, hopefully, at the county levels. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion stated clearly that before they came in to move this bill and during the recess, they had lengthy consultations with over 20 county assemblies who came before the committee to explain the needs they have within the counties. And Madam Speaker, one of those counties was Tana River County Assembly. Tana River County Assembly, Madam Speaker, made its propositions, and the big issue here is that our county assemblies have been denied sufficient funds for them to carry out oversight duties. They have made this plainly clear to me when I went to address the assembly, and even when I went with the committee to meet a sister committee in Tana River County, that they are having a problem with the slashed funds. And this makes it very difficult for committees to be able to move and carry out their oversight duties. Madam Speaker, many of them are not able to fund the normal activities of oversight for standing committees of the county assemblies. And this includes the County Assembly of Tana River. Madam Speaker, this creates a problem because then if primary oversight is not carried out properly, then it becomes a challenge, because then for us who are carrying out the secondary oversight at the national level, at the Senate level, we overwork ourselves. And it is because those county executives were not called to account at the county level. The CECs, the chief officers were not called to account at the county level. So then, Madam Speaker, we have a backlog because reports are not being done. The governors come here before the Senate and they also have a backlog. So we have a problem in terms of the funding, Madam Speaker. Twining with that, Madam Speaker, there is the issue of We are doing secondary oversight. They are doing primary oversight. And because sometimes we are conflicting, you will find a CEC or a chief officer who is being asked in those rare occasions to appear before a county assembly committee, says, no, I am being called to Nairobi, or I'm accompanying the governor to Nairobi. And Madam Speaker, it creates a systemic problem. And we need to sort this out so that county assemblies are properly funded and they are able to deal with their primary oversight duties. Madam Speaker, this is a message that has been given to me formally by our county assembly members. I know they appeared before the committee, and I know that the committee has looked at them favorably, but not enough. What the county assembly of Tana River has said, they want more allocation so that they are able to carry out primary oversight duties. And I'm sure, Madam Speaker, it is not just the Tana River County Assembly committees. There are so many other committees that are having issues with funding so that they can do the primary oversight duties. Madam Speaker, the other issue that has been brought to life in this law, in this proposed law, is the proposed section 10 of this County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, if you look at that section, it provides, not section 9, it provides for the action that constitute financial misconduct. And Madam Speaker, when you look at this, I wanted to take the floor of the House, Madam Speaker, to really emphasize this point. Why is this important is that there is a schedule that has been provided for of how monies are supposed to depart from the National Treasury and go into County Revenue Fund, the CRF. Madam Speaker, this movement from Treasury, despite the schedules that we pass here, and the law being that it's the law, it has to be obeyed, they never follow the schedules. And because of this failure to follow the instruction that is given by the Senate, we have very difficult operational circumstances within the counties. Madam Speaker, you can have a county that has not paid its workers for a period of 2 months, sometimes even 3 months, Madam Speaker. And when these workers are not paid for that long, and suddenly money comes, a lot of money comes at the same time, it creates inefficiencies, systemic inefficiencies. And this is why I have called many times for the separation of the Treasury so that we have two clear functions. Treasury that is dedicated to servicing national government, and a treasury or a sub-office dedicated to serving the county assemblies, so that there is always money that is released timeously. Because, Madam Speaker, money has value when it is released on time. If you need now 10,000 shillings, it may not be useful to get 100,000 shillings or even 1,000,000 shillings 2 days later, when 10,000 was required now for a purpose. That 10,000 becomes more valuable than the 100,000 or the 1 million that comes 2 days or 3 days or 2 months later. Madam Speaker, we need to find a way in which officers at the Treasury can prioritize proper movement of monies. If this schedule is obeyed, then we should have less problems in terms of counties managing their finances. I will not repeat that governors, as they receive this money, they must remember they have a duty to the people. They have a duty to do work. Once we have finished with this, they have a constitutional and a civic duty, in fact, even a spiritual duty, to make sure that this money reaches those areas that are needed. Madam Speaker, it is not enough for us to just pass these monies. These monies, when they go down there, they must do the work so that devolution makes sense. We have seen counties that have done very well, and we have seen counties that have not done as well. We pray, Madam Speaker, as we pass these monies in this financial year, they will be utilized in the manner that is equivalent to the shared value of devolution. With those so many words, Madam Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Honourable Senators, I don't see other contributors, so I now wish to call the mover to reply.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I really want to start by appreciating my colleagues led by Senator Cheralge, Senator for Nandi, for the great input while seconding this very important bill for this House at this critical time. Also to thank my sister, Senator Karen Nyamu, from also Nairobi County, where we both represent, for her great input, knowing very well Nairobi is really leading with the issues of pending bills. And so this bill is very critical, not only to this great county of Nairobi, but also cutting across to all the 47 counties, Madam Speaker, and also to appreciate the legend, none other than Senator Mungatana, for his wonderful input, Madam Speaker. And I know also, Madam Speaker, if you were also seated on this other side, we would have had your great submission, as you've always submitted before this House, Madam Speaker, because I don't want to take too much time. I really appreciate them, and I do beg that the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. Thank you.
Yeah, the putting of the question is so deferred. Next order.
Order number 11, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025, second reading.
Is it Senator Mutinda again? Senator Mutinda?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to move that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Bill 2025, be read a second time. Madam Speaker, the Equalization Fund Bill, Senate Bill number 7, which was published before this House and was first read on the 27th of June, pursuant to our standing orders. Equalization Fund is also established under Article 204. Madam Speaker, it's not the first time I'm moving the Equalization Bill, and this bill is very critical, especially to the marginalized regions or areas that have been focused on, Madam Speaker. And I've always stated, and I'll always state, that the main aim, the main goal of the Equalization Fund is to be able to facilitate on issues that cut across the health sector, the roads issue, the water sector, and electricity, Madam Speaker, more so narrowing to the marginalized regions and areas, Madam Speaker. According to the CRA, Madam Speaker, we have 1,424 marginalized areas that spread and cut across the 34 counties, different counties, Madam Speaker. Equalization bill, Madam Speaker, as I've said, is not a new bill to this House. And the Senate Bill number 7 provides for appropriation of 16.8 billion from the Equalization Fund for financial year 2025-2026. The proposed amount, the 16.296 billion, shall be shared or should be shared among the 34 beneficiary counties. This is based on the second policy on marginalization. Annexed from the bill on equalization fund allocation of the 1,424 marginalized areas which had been identified, 504 million is to be allocated to the Equalization Fund Advisory Board. The 504 million is for administration cost as pursuant to the PFM regulations. And Madam Speaker, the committee had carried out public participation on the bill in accordance to our standing orders. And in this participation, we were able to invite different stakeholders. You know, in the Committee of Finance, we have, stakeholders that we are always engaging with them, led by the Minister for Finance. We have the Commission of Revenue Allocation, the County Assemblies Forum, Madam Speaker, and at this point we had a special stakeholder called the Old Pumwani Landlord Community, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I proceed, the committee was able to make different observations as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned. One of them, Madam Speaker, the bill provided for allocation of per county and subsequently per constituency. The projects to be funded are only in the identified marginalized areas. A review of the projects identified by Equalization Fund Advisory Board as that of June 2024, that was last year, indicated that the total 1,415 projects have been proposed to be implemented under the second marginalization policy. Madam Speaker, as I proceed, the Equalization Fund has two Appropriations Act in place. One, we have the Equalization Fund Appropriation Act, number 3 of 2018, amounting to 12.4 billion, being allocation of the financial year, and I want you to note that the financial year 2014-2015, 2015-16 and 2016-17 implemented through the first marginalization policy. Madam Speaker, you hear this financial years. These are almost 10 years ago, Madam Speaker. The challenge that we've had, Madam Speaker, as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned, is the reimbursement of this fund, Madam Speaker, to the beneficiary counties, to the beneficiary marginalized areas, Madam Speaker. And that's why you find that this 12.4 billion was the first allocation, Mr. Speaker. The second act of the Equalization Fund Appropriation number 7 of 2023 was 10.3 billion, being the allocation now of the recent financial year, which is financial year 21, 22, 22, and 23 for the second marginalization policy. However, the implementation of the second act is yet to be fully implemented in regards to the disbursement of the money to the fund, Mr. Speaker. As of June 2024, that is last year. Remember, this Equalization Fund was within a period of 20 years, Mr. Speaker. The only amount that has been disbursed is the first allocation of around the 12.4. But as we speak, as at now, the fund stands to have arrears outstanding amounting to 46.5 billion out of the 59.96 billion. This is an implication of 13.4% that has been only sent for the funds since inception. The lack of funds, Mr. Speaker, the lack of the disbursement, and I'm saying the disbursement because where the problem has been through the Ministry of Treasury and Planning, Economic Planning, whereby these funds or these disbursements have not been honored by the minister himself. If these funds had been disbursed as scheduled, as prioritized, as amounted, Mr. Speaker, we will not be talking of arrears amounting to 46 billion today. Mr. Speaker, in the bill, the committee, having considered the bill and analyzed the stakeholder submissions, we made some few recommendations. One, amendments to clause 3 of the bill by deleting the expression 2041 and substituting with the expression 2042. This is because basic services be provided via Equalization Fund are provided in Article 2042 of the Constitution. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, amending the schedule to the bill in column 2 of the item 13 with respect to Kitui County by deleting the word Kisumu and substituting with Kitui. Mr. Speaker, the emphasis as far as Equalization Fund is concerned is just basically on the arrears that are in place. We look forward as a committee to having the CS Mbadi next week on Thursday morning so that we can also be able to engage him as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned. This is a fund that should have achieved its purpose. The reason it has delayed, the reason it has had this delay is because the disbursements have basically not been honored, Mr. Speaker. And with those and many few remarks, I want to thank my colleagues at the committee level, led by my chair, Honorable Senator Roba, and the rest that we work very closely with, the secretariat led by Gitonga, we have Beverly, Lucy, and the team, that we work closely as far as these issues of the committee are concerned. And at this time, because we still have another bill, which is also timely, that we have to look into, I want to call Senator Cheryl Guy to be able to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And it's good to see you again in this new week. I'm impressed on how Senator Mutinda is pronouncing my name. I think she's pronouncing it with a British accent, or is it American accent? Madam Speaker, I want to continue to commend Senator Mutinda for the good job that she's doing as the vice chairperson. I think that's why I said, Mr. Speaker, in the morning, or before, a few hours ago, that Senator Mutinda continues to distinguish herself as one of the prolific debaters of this session. And I can see she's learning the ropes too fast. And I hope the position she will aspire to, she'll be able to continue her debating prowess, because she always does her work with an eye of military marksman or markswoman. Well, Mr. Speaker, as I second the issue of Equalization Fund, as I Equalization, I think Senator Karen Nyamu, Mr. Speaker, you know, I attended one of the best schools in this country. I'm an alma mater of Kapsabet Boys High School, the only school that has produced 2 presidents, the late His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, and the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, and that is the 5th now. So you can imagine, and we are going to give him 2 terms. Mr. Speaker, and also possibly the 7th. Yours truly, of course. So in English, I said, she does her work with an eye of military marksman or markswoman, because now military has both women and men. And of course, to show appreciation to our women leaders led by Senator Mutinda. Speaker, this is a very fairly short bill. I agree with the mover that, Mr. Speaker, I don't know what is happening with National Treasury. They are putting us in crisis mode. Because this 46.5 billion that is owed through Equalization Fund continue to cripple provision of services, Mr. Speaker. As you are aware, Article 204 of the Constitution 2010, these funds were supposed to use for basics, like hospitals, like roads, and other, like roads, basics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the Finance and Budget Committee and the Senate Business Committee schedules a committee of the whole, led by you, Speaker, so that we bring CS of Treasury, CS Mbadi, to come and sit here and tell us, Mr. Speaker, these 424 marginalized areas, including your county, Garissa County, where you come from. Although the other day, the putting of firewood in Masjid, one of your markets within town, was a problem, Mr. Speaker, because I'm told even the people who fight firefighters are not well trained, which is very unfortunate. So on these 424 marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, of 34 counties, why is it that 46.5 billion is yet to be released? This will continue to cripple services. Mr. Speaker, over the weekend, one of artists from Nandi County called Jantex, Speaker, in a place called Cherondo, which that is in Kapchorwa Ward, between Kapchorwa, Lesos Ward, Mr. Speaker, and also Soba Sonko. Those words, Mr. Speaker, are the words that has been classified to get Equalization Fund. I saw our local artists, DJ Kaptula, I saw a number of them, Mara Vuria, and a number of artists who are complaining that the roads were bad. We agree with them, they are bad. But it is because of lack of release of this amount of money, so that we can fix that road from Cherondo all the way as it opens up to Imagi Trading Center, Mr. Speaker. So even as I apologize, because also, Mr. Speaker, you know, unlike Garissa, Nandi is raining. We have been blessed. And you know, it's next to Nandi, Mr. Speaker, has 3 forests. It has Nandi North, Nandi South, and Kimondi Forest, Mr. Speaker. And even Tindred Forest, where we share with Kericho County. That road, that all the way to Kapkoros, all the way to Tindred, to Maraba, Mr. Speaker, and all the way that it opens to Maraba and Taptengele, to all these other parts of Tindred, is also part of the roads that under Soba Songo. Mr. Speaker, to put this context on this issue of Equalization Fund, in fact, in Nandi, Senator Mutinda benefits with 4 wards. That is Songo Soba Ward in Tindred Sub-County, Kapchorwa Ward in Nandi Hills constituency, Chemilil Chemase Ward, Mr. Speaker, in Tindred constituency. That's around 200 million plus. So in this 46.5 billion that is yet to be released, out of 424 marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, Nandi should be the biggest beneficiary. In fact, I'm coming with a motion, and I will try to appeal, because the Vice Chairperson, Senator Mutinda, is here, for Nandi to be given 2 extra wards as marginalized areas. That is Terik Ward in Aldai constituency and Cheptirwai Ward in Masab constituency, Mr. Speaker. And I know even here in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, do you know we have what we call up and poor? There are people who are living in Nairobi, but they cannot access the basics, including food, water, and shelter. Mukuru Kwanjenga, Kibra, Mr. Speaker. We imagine that since 60% of GDP is in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, they are well off. The biggest threat in this nation, Mr. Speaker, is the up and poor. Lack of basic amenities like water, Mr. Speaker, health care, clothing, food, Mr. Speaker. In fact, I want to support and congratulate President William Ruto on his aim of affordable housing program to bring dignity to many Kenyans who live in slum areas, Mr. Speaker, where there is no dignity. But the President is saying it is not us we who are better off that should live in better housing, Mr. Speaker. Even in this Nairobi city, we have seen even Talanta Hela Sports Stadium in Ngong Road, Mr. Speaker. This, in fact, I am surprised. With the greatest up and poor, Mr. Speaker, you find some families who live in Kibra, who live in Eastern Pipers. They don't have playground. You see them when you drive on the weekend along the Pipers. They are trying to sunbed, Mr. Speaker. They are trying to play their children because there is no playground. And therefore, some of these areas in Nairobi, which is 60%, should be classified as marginalized and be given equalization funds. How do you account to many schools in slum areas within Nairobi? Mukuru Nkanjenga, Mukuru kwa Ruben, Kibra, one of the largest slums. In fact, you can't access those places, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I agree, even here in Kiambu, a place called Ndeia, Mr. Speaker. When you go to Kiambu, you think it is one of the richest and wealthiest counties. But there is still a lot of poverty. Places like Ndeia, Mr. Speaker, and many others, even in Kajiado, in Garissa, in Mandera, of course in Busia, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this issue of equalization, I want to appeal to the finance and budget. Let us sit and reevaluate the marginalized areas so that we include the upper and poor, so that we include cities like Nairobi, which continues to suffer under the weight of wealth, Mr. Speaker. This city is a city of contrast. At the far end, you have the super rich. At the far end, you have super poor. I want to appeal. I saw the statement today on stall projects. The governor of Nairobi told us, lazima I work, but unfortunately at the moment I work. And I want to challenge the two leaders from Nairobi who are seated behind me to be at the forefront to ensure there are deliverables for the betterment of, Mr. Speaker, of this. So, Speaker, on the issue of marginalized, I have seen today, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the salaries and remuneration. And I want to add another, to request through the Vice Chairperson, Senator Mutinda of Finance and Budget, to request that this issue of hardship allowance must be relooked at, Mr. Speaker. I have seen the Salaries and Remuneration Commission have issued a clarification, and I want to agree with them. Under the law, they don't have any role, Mr. Speaker, in terms of how hardship declaration areas is being done, or hardship zones. It is the public service department that does its job. I am aware of a report, and I want to challenge finance and budget because issue of equalization is still part of marginalized, Mr. Speaker. In this financial year, where counties are getting 16.8 billion through financial year 2025, Mr. Speaker, it should be considered. So I have seen the letter from Salaries and Remuneration Commission clarifying that they don't have a role. In fact, under the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, the role of SRC is to only advise on the issue of remuneration. Mr. Speaker, I am aware there is a report that was presented through Public Prime Cabinet Secretary Office, where they were proposing scrapping of hardship allowances to teachers, Mr. Speaker, and they were saying they are saving 6 billion. Mr. Speaker, what will attract teachers and other civil servants to work from hardship areas? We must disagree. I totally oppose with the intention of any form to remove hardship allowances for teachers and civil servants, government civil servants. There is a reason why 44 hardship zones and even more should be included. I've said in Nandi we need to see Terik as hardship area. We need to see Chepterwa as hardship area. We need to see Kapchorwa, Sopa, Songo, Mr. Speaker, Chemeli, Chemase being hardship areas among the 44. This move to say they want to scrap to save 6 billion doesn't make sense, Mr. Speaker. And therefore I want to appeal that in the spirit of equalization and the issue of marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Kenya National Union of Teachers and Kenya KUPPET to reject the intention of scrapping hardship allowances for teachers and other civil servants in the guise. So, Speaker, in fact, this is going against the legal notice number 534 of 1998 and the legal notice of 196 of 2015, which declared some of these areas as marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker. And it is very unfortunate. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, that in fact we should give more hardship allowances to not only teachers, but all civil servants, so that we can get somebody coming all the way from Nandi to work in Garissa, to work in Banisa, to work in Todonyang, to work all the way in Namanga, so that they are motivated through these hardship allowances, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to say that the issue of hardship allowances and the issue of marginalized should be married together, Mr. Speaker, so that as you provide basics like roads, hospital, and schools, there is no need, Mr. Speaker, for us to pass 16.8 billion to go and build schools. There are no teachers to teach there because you have not given them hardship allowances. You know, it complements each other. It must and it should complement each other. And even as I'm aware, the CBA agreement of teachers, collective bargaining agreement, has come to an end. I want to urge the NAT and KUPPET to move in and ensure that CBA negotiations. Mr. Speaker, the reason I'm marrying with the workforce or human resource is because you cannot give out equalization fund without human resource. Mr. Speaker, according to the United Nations, you must have what we call human resource development. It is not only infrastructural development. You must have what you call human resource development. It must be resourced, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, the reason I'm insisting on working in human resource development, we must agree that as we give equalization funds, we also give hardship allowances to government workers or civil servants, teachers inclusive, and I'm aware and I want to agree with them under Article 41 on labor rights as they negotiate for CBA, and I want to appeal to NAT and KUPPET, Mr. Speaker, not to declare any strike. The government is willing to negotiate on CBA, Mr. Speaker. Even I want to challenge Senator Tabita on the issue of, I'm aware there is a looming, and it's part of Nairobi delegation, there is a looming, and she's a practitioner in the health sector, that she needs also, alongside our colleagues in Senate delegation of Nairobi, that there is a looming strike of nurses and other clinical officers about the dire situation of health sector within Nairobi. So I want to challenge the Senator Mutinda, because she sits as the Vice Chair of Finance and Budget, to intervene on the looming strike of nurses and other health practitioners, because I saw Washira and Kebora yesterday complaining over the same. So, Mr. Speaker, my rationale and the reasoning as I tied up is that we should give equalization fund, but also motivate human resource that works within that region, so that you achieve the results. You cannot build a school, yet you don't have teachers. You must have teachers so that you get value for money. Today we can say 46.5 billion be released. We'll go build a school in Kapchorwa, in Chemelil Chemas, in Soba Songo. But where will you get the teacher that will provide for that learner? And I agree on the issue of 504% for the operations of, I want to request the finance and budget. What is killing counties is recurrent expenditure. I think in future, we should see a way of reducing this 504 million for operations. And I know the Finance and Budget Committee, led by Senator Roba and deputized by Senator Mutinda, can sit and agree on how they want to proceed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, this is a very Article 204. We must adhere to it. I want to still appeal that this money of marginalization should and must be released. And I hope when the CS, I have heard the mover, who is the Vice Chairperson of Finance and Budget, saying that CS Mbadi is appearing before them. Please let him tell us what this 46.5 billion is. So, Speaker, we need to fix roads. Over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, as I accompanied the President, as you are aware, in Kaptagat 9th edition, and I want to thank and congratulate PS Dr. Chris Kipto, who is the patron of Kaptagat conservation efforts, for the good work he's doing in that region, and as the PS of National Treasury, I accompanied His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, for conservation efforts. So, Speaker, and I'm happy you did move a bill concerning environment. I wish to have seen you there, because you are one of the champions of the issue of conservation and climate action. And I used a road that is between Simatwa all the way to Naiberi, Mr. Speaker. That road is barely 3 years, Mr. Speaker. But the road is in pathetic condition. It was but tarmac. When you pass through, Mr. Speaker, Wanifa, as you go to Naiberi, as you approach the one from Nyaru all the way to Eldoret. So I used the Simatwa, the Wanifa, all the way to Kipkabos, to Ainapoi. The road is in pathetic shape, Mr. Speaker. Yet that road has been used only for 3 years. The contractor of that road should be called to order, should be blacklisted. Yes, I'm aware it was in the previous government. It was done in the previous government. In fact, the CS of roads then The heads who stood for that road, the supervisor, the contractor, must be called, Mr. Speaker. We have roads that were done in 1960s, but we are still there in good shape. That road between Simotwo High School, all the way to the other part of KU, and this other way all the way to Ainapko, Mr. Speaker, which has been for 3 years, we must be told who is the contractor. That contractor must be blacklisted. The retention money that is in the account must be brought back. Because if we are using taxpayers' money, Mr. Speaker, to only fix a road and then use for 3 years, then potholes are all over. That road was done in a substandard manner. And I want to request the Committee of Roads and Transport to go back and investigate not only that road of Naiberi, Kibkabos, but also the one, and this other part of KU, all the way to this part of KU, Mr. Speaker, Tingwa. From Tingwa all the way to Ainapkoi, it is not only that, Mr. Speaker. Even my road, the one I talked about today, Chepterit Moi University, it's barely 3 years. But the gentlemen, I'm not an engineer, they are repairing it using maram and tarmac. So I'm wondering, why would you put maram and tarmac? I'm not an engineer, but that is the substandard work. We want, when we fix a road to the tarmac, that road should have even a lifespan of 50 years before even we see a pothole. So the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and Uasin who use that road, I think they are really suffering because, but I'm happy His Excellency the President took a note of that road and directed that something be done. And this was the road that was done in the previous regime, Mr. Speaker. So Speaker, the reason I'm speaking on behalf on such is because all of us are leaders without boundaries across the nation. Mr. Speaker, with those very many remarks so that I can allow my sister and other colleagues to reply and also other colleagues to contribute, allow me to graciously, with a lot of humility, to second this bill. Let this money go to the village. Let's fix our roads, our schools, our hospitals, and the governors or people who will be in charge. They should know this money is taxpayers' money. 1 shilling lost in any taxpayers' money is for too much, because Kenyans pay through the pain for this tax, Mr. Speaker. Are you aware there are two things sure in life, death and taxes? With those many remarks, I beg to second.
Thank you, Senator. The honorable senators can now contribute to the motion. Senator Mungatana. Just one moment, please. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2024 be now read a second time. Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to take the floor on this matter. Mr. Speaker, there is a history behind the Equalization Fund. These are monies for those who are listening to us, because I know people are listening to us. Apart from the equitable share that the Senate passes, there is the Equalization Fund. In the Constitution, the makers of that Constitution, we thought that there are parts of this country that have faced severe segregation in terms of funding, in terms of development. And Mr. Speaker, it used to be that some parts of Kenya, people would enter their buses and say, "Where are you traveling? I'm going to Kenya." Mr. Speaker, the reason the Constitution introduced this Equalization Fund is so that areas such as Tana River, which were left behind, in specific 4 areas, the areas of water, roads, health facilities, and electricity, can get extra funding so that we can catch up with the rest of the areas that started getting these funds before us. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Bill number 7 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, Tana River will be getting 719 million shillings. Bura constituency will be getting 259,489,901. Galole constituency will be getting 196,502,469. Garsen constituency will be getting the larger share because it also has a bigger population of 263,022,881 Kenya shillings. Mr. Speaker, these monies, according to this act, they do not go to the county revenue fund. In fact, Mr. Speaker, Section 4 of this act specifically excludes these monies from being taken to the CRF, which means, Mr. Speaker, their appropriation is faster. It is possible for this money to be released today from Treasury, and once those plans are approved, it is possible to use this money without too much delay. So, Mr. Speaker, as these funds, 719 million, go down to Tana River, Mr. Speaker, the people of Tana River are looking up to seeing better water services, Mr. Speaker, to seeing better roads, Mr. Speaker, to seeing better health facilities, Mr. Speaker, and also a better reach for the electricity distribution network around our county. Mr. Speaker, I urge that those who will receive these monies, and Mr. Speaker, those who will be given the opportunity to choose those projects in the various wards, because this is what we do. The various wards come up with their projects. Mr. Speaker, we expect proper utilization of these funds, and I again say, let us make it really worth it, that all this effort we make, may it reflect well on the ground, so that our people don't say we are just talking and they don't get information or benefits of the evolution. Mr. Speaker, with those many words, I beg to support. Thank you.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Equalization Fund is not charity. It is a constitutional obligation under Section 204 of our Constitution. And the people who framed the Constitution understood that if we do not deliberately empower the very forgotten corners of our country, then we risk even more alienation and risk creating unrest in our countries. Unfortunately, this noble fund has experienced delays, serious delays, bureaucracy and bottlenecks that rendering it almost dysfunctional in previous cycles. But I'm glad that this year we have a chance, because we have specific allocations where this money should be spent in our counties. I want to say that this Equalization Fund is not supposed to be politicized. It is not a way of wooing any community. We must ensure that it is going to the marginalized and not to woo numbers, as it has been traditionally done. Mr. Speaker, urban marginalization is real. And in Nairobi, we have informal settlements where the residents of these settlements do not have access to sanitation, have a huge population in schools. The infrastructure is poor. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, what is the difference between a child who walks 10 kilometers in Turkana in search of water and a child who lives in Korokocho in open sewer? Both are victims of lack of access to water. Tell me why the Nairobi child has not been catered for under this Equalization Fund. Being close to civilization only means that this marginalization is hidden. It does not mean that it exists. In fact, it makes it even worse for our case. I want this to be the parliament that reviews this allocation of Equalization Fund and allocates pockets of urban pockets that are marginalized. I don't know what happened to Senate Mashinani, because I want to suggest that we take time as a house and our committees, take time to have sittings in our slums, in Kibera, in Korokocho, in Mukuru, Madam Speaker, in Kiambu, in Deep Sea, in Westlands, and all our slums, Mr. Speaker, so that you can appreciate when you are allocating, and particularly the Committee on Finance and Budget, when you are allocating and when you are suggesting, so that you can appreciate that Nairobi is not the skyscrapers. Nairobi is not the estates, Madam Speaker. Nairobi is the 60% of the population of this city who lives in the slums that I have just listed, Mr. Speaker. And I think as a Nairobi team and a Nairobi delegation, we have to raise up to the occasion, because our people have a lot of expectations from us. I want to leave this Senate when Nairobi is listed in this schedule as a beneficiary of this Equalization Fund, Mr. Speaker, because as things are, this is outrightly unfair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by appreciating the good work done by the Finance Committee in ensuring that they push for the allocation of these funds. But as they do their work, it is imperative to be able to understand why this Equalization Fund was put in the Constitution of Kenya and for what reasons. The aim, Mr. Speaker, was solely to be able to address disparities among regions in the country that have been left behind. In fact, I believe that the framers of the Constitution were advised by Session Paper number 10, where development was constantly focused on the areas where the train was, leaving regions. Mr. Speaker, I've had the contribution by my two colleagues who spoke before me. The first one is Senator Cherargei. And today, for the very first time, let me acknowledge the good work that Senator Cherargei does in this country. You know, I've been with Senator Cherargei for the last 8 years in this parliament. And when at the rise of the house, you'll still find Senator Cherargei. So the people of Nandi, just know that you have a good asset. He might be cantankerous, he might be unorthodox, but he is very diligent in terms of his agility and dedication to issues affecting Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, is beyond measure. I really appreciate him for that. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, let me begin by completely disagreeing by certain sentiments that my good friend Senator Cherargei shared here in terms of the city. The city, I beg to differ. My sentiments could be unorthodox, but it is not marginalized. It is completely not marginalized. The city is defined as a city Mosiro in Narok County is not defined as a city. A rural village in Garissa County is not defined as a city. So this business or debate that my dear sister also, Senator Karen Nyamu, is also supporting that Nairobi should be considered as marginalized. Those people, I dare say, who live in the slums, do so because of poor policies, because of rural-urban migration. If we could spend our time, Mr. Speaker, if we could be able to really focus on developing our counties, there would be no reason as to why people would migrate from Kakamega to Nairobi. There'll be no reason as to why people will move Garissa to Nairobi, from Narok to Nairobi. And when they come from Nandi to Nairobi, and I think that is a conversation we need to have as a country. What do we do to uplift the standard of living of our people who live in our rural areas? The framers of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, drew the line for us. They divided resources. They went ahead and said, we will put a sunset clause on money to be sent to counties. It is quite mind-boggling, Mr. Speaker, and quite self-defeating when today we start talking about 2 equalization funds to be able to implement marginalized policies. When the money has been set aside, 46 billion, this is a year, so it will just be reduced to a talking house where we're talking and the money is not going out. That is the argument we should be having. Those regions, I know the committee or the Commission of Revenue Allocation has developed different marginalization policies to be able to advise this equalization fund. But every year, Mr. Speaker, this Senate passes the resources to be sent, to be implemented, then it becomes a tug of war. Members of Parliament wants to be the ones to be able to implement that. National government wants to take that money. Now that we have a clear path, the most important thing for us to ask ourselves is these 19 or 14, 15 projects that have been proposed to be implemented under the second marginalization policy. And previously, those other ones under the Equalization Fund Act number 3 of 2018, which was bringing together resources that were supposed to have been sent out to counties for 2014, 15, 16, and 17. That was never sent. That is the question, Mr. Speaker. That is where we should be putting all our thoughts in to say, CS Buddy, what can we do for you to send this money? What can you do for you to be able to send this money, for this money to go to regions? The Constitution is there. So when I hear people saying, it has been delayed because of debates, because of what? No. It's really just wasting time. So, Mr. Speaker, we have these marginalized regions. We have people who do not even have water in their regions, Mr. Speaker. In the 21st century, we are out in the streets arguing, fighting about governance. We're talking about issues. I'm not hearing people saying, I'm going to protest because I do not have water in my village. I'm not hearing people say, I do not have a hospital in my village. Today, Mr. Speaker, I saw that there was a school. Mr. Speaker, my minutes. This is an issue. I beg to request that we can postpone it to tomorrow so that we are not in a rush to move all the other bills, because these are issues that we need to address, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to request that you allow me to go through this. I haven't been around.
Very well, Senator.
And there are issues that are very important. And I really do wish that all the senators who are here to talk about these projects, to name projects. Mr. Speaker, while I was sitting here, I received a text message from a Kenyan who was given a contract during the first policy. I think it was under the Act number Equalization Fund number 3 of 2018. Until today, Mr. Speaker, that Kenyan has not been paid their money. That is what we should be talking about. Those projects. When are we ever going to become of age when we talk about democracy. We are busy talking about tribal issues. We are busy talking about power. But there's no single day, Mr. Speaker, that we can say, now, let us audit these funds. Let us, this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, is one of the most important afternoons in the Senate calendar, where we are talking about division of revenue. We are talking about Equalization Fund. The next one, we are going to be talking about dividing money among the counties, the 47 counties. This is a county allocation of revenue. But when I shook my head like this, all like this, you know, and particularly that's the reason why I'm here, and maybe people have issues, but I think it's a day that we don't need to rush things. It's a day that we need to stand here and say, how much money is going to Narok County? With this Equalization Fund, these marginalized areas. Mr. Speaker, there was, in the last parliament, the Commission of Revenue and Allocation had even gone down. They had narrowed the marginalized areas to sub-locations. You'll find that in Narok County, for instance, you will go to Narok East. But in Narok East, even though money will be given to Narok East, it will not be given to help the entire Narok East. It will be to probably go to Mosiro, where people don't have a health center, they have no water, they have no what. If it is a Murwedikir, if it is Kilgoris constituency, it will be areas that it will help be able to uplift the standard of living of these people. What, Mr. Speaker, I want to invite us all now is to debate how we are going to change our future. Because the arguments that we've been having have been self-defeating. The fights that we've been having have been self-defeating. We now need to ask ourselves, what do we need to do? What belts do we need to tighten? What policies do we need to come up with? So that whatever amount of money we pass in this house can be released. You know, sometimes I think the reason why a lot of things are not done when it comes to the issue of the Senate is because we do not have an implementation committee. I think the day we have an implementation committee with serious consequences, then when we pass this 46 billion, or all the amount of money that needs to be able to go to the counties, we can follow through to ensure that that money is done. After this, we will be discussing about county allocation fund. When we discuss that, Mr. Speaker, will those funds go to projects that have solely been selected by Treasury, or does it have an input of the citizens? The reason why there is such a huge disparity, the reason why there is such a big fight between the younger generation and the current generation, between the millennials and the Gen Zs or the other generation, is because we are not speaking the same language. Instead of doing away with this rural-urban migration and being intentional by the money we allocate and we follow through, we are busy now talking about, let us improve life in the slums. Why not start new cities? Why not go in and say, areas which are just left like that, go set up a city, move people, they move on. Mr. Speaker, if you go to Nigeria decided we are tired of this, lack of coordination. And they came up with Abuja, brand new city. They are building new cities, as a country, Kenya. Today, Mr. Speaker, what we should be asking ourselves is that what will help uplift or change the lifestyle of our people? It becomes very expensive, Mr. Speaker. Now we are talking about this Equalization Fund. There's some money here which is being earmarked to take electricity to those marginalized areas. But let us be realistic here. Mr. Speaker, I'm a pastoralist. And Mr. Speaker, you're also a pastoralist. I live here, and I have probably 2,000 or 3,000 acres of land. To get to where you are, you also have another 2,000 acres of land. By the time we build an electric line to you, we would have spent all the money that is supposed to be able to help people. Why don't we think about creating cities, small towns, even in rural areas, Mr. Speaker? So I went to Rwanda, and I was impressed with what Rwandans are doing when we visited President Kagame. And that is one of the things that, Mr. Speaker, I have committed myself to do it for the people of Ilchamus in Baringo County. Bring them together, have them some social houses. You know, when you put them together, there is enough security. You can put a police post there. You can bring electricity to them. You can give them water. You can also help them use the resources which are located in Lake Baringo. We move that to other regions as well, Mr. Speaker, of Narok County, of Garissa County. So, Mr. Speaker, the argument that I'd like us to have is how well do we ensure that we send this money that we have allocated, Mr. Speaker. The money...
Senator Olekina, you will have a balance of 7 minutes when this motion returns on the floor of the House. Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 16th July 2025 at 9:30 p.m.
Thank you, Olive. Much appreciated. And Dr. Miguna, thanks for staying with us. This is